Hi, I'm Kate Bonner for the Watercolor Diaries on KBTV Online. Thanks for joining. So, here's the moral dilemma. What if you discovered that your medical doctor, your general practitioner, had committed murder 15 years before and served jail time? Or say you found out that your children's doctor was a convicted felon. Well, would it matter? These are the questions that some officials at a famed Swedish medical school are asking themselves after they admitted a Nazi sympathizer who had committed hate murder 7 years prior. His case garnered massive media attention and has thrust the little discussed question into the minds of philosophers, civil rights advocates, and people everywhere. Should a murderer be allowed to practice medicine? A quote, killer turned healer could, on one hand, be seen as the ultimate shining example of prison rehabilitation. After all, in many circles of America, inmates who go back to school, learn new skills, and turn their lives around to help other people are seen as inspirations. Still, it's hard to imagine someone has taken a life wielding a scalpel over your body. That's the argument of Lawrence K. Altman, a medical doctor turned daily newspaper reporter for the New York Times. In a recent column, he wrote, quote, medical education involves more than learning from textbooks. Earning a medical degree requires a student to interview and examine patients, often in intimate circumstances. Integrity and trust are the core of the patient-doctor relationship. Any erosion of them could harm the healing process. So how did Carl Helge Hampus Svensson, a 31-year-old convicted murderer, get into Sweden's prestigious Karolinska Medical School in the first place? Well, Swedish law prohibits public universities from asking the criminal backgrounds of applicants, and Svensson, he didn't volunteer his criminal record during the interview process. He had also legally changed his name while he was in prison. The medical school didn't learn of his true identity until it got 2 anonymous tips last fall. Svensson was convicted in the 1999 hate murder of a trade union worker and paroled after serving 6.5 years of his 11-year sentence. In scores of interviews in the news, Swedes stood behind the convicted criminal's right to go to medical school. That was until they were told that Svensson was responsible for a highly publicized 1999 hate murder. Although a few said they might go to such a doctor depending on the circumstances, none said they would send a loved one. Svensson's case is extraordinary, of course, but it does raise the question of where to draw the line between what's ethical, what's safe, and individual rights. The chances of a convicted criminal being admitted to a medical school in the U.S. were reduced in 2002 when the standard application form from the Association of American Medical Colleges began requiring answers to questions about military discharge history, arrests, and felony convictions. 8 of the 126 medical schools in the United States do not participate in the association's application service. 6 of the 8 are in Texas. In the end, it all comes back to an issue of trust, says Dr. Harriet Wahlberg Hendrickson. She's the president of the Swedish Medical School. And I quote, in the final analysis, it comes down to trust, because when you're a patient, you're putting your life in someone else's hands. So whatever happened to Svensson and his medical aspirations? Well, he was expelled from that Swedish medical school in January, not because of his criminal record, but on a technicality. Apparently, he had falsified his high school transcript. This guy's got problems. Thanks for joining today. I'm Kate Bonner for the Watercolor Diaries on KBTV Online.